Good evening. Minnesota State Patrol. Here's a nice for your speed on your email.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about your speed, sir.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Okay. Got your license and insurance?
Orange County Attorney's Office, this is Travis. How can I help you?
Yeah, hey, Travis. Here, Ron Johnson calling.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Johnson?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to follow up with you regarding your discovery request.
Yeah.
So basically, I just wanted to let you know that we are in the process of making the request. Well, I should restate that the request has been made, but I do want to let you know that there are a few things, basically, that we will not be providing at this time, as the rules don't make it mandatory for us to disclose things that are basically outside of the scope of the relevance of your defense. So we will not be requesting the personnel data.
Well,
I'm not sure exactly what that 13.43 is. There wasn't a real clear citation on there.
what do you mean by citation?
Citations are essentially things that are like, it's kind of like call numbers in a library, so it's really easy to kind of find out where this is coming from. They use it in the legal field a lot to do, like, for cases. We cite cases, and in order to find those cases in a law library, you need to have, like, certain information on there. Basically, 13.43 personnel data subdivision 1, because essentially I don't know where to find that. I don't know exactly what it is that you're trying to reference there.
Oh, well, it's according to state law.
Which state? Is that a statute, 13.43?
Yeah, just look it up. Look up Minnesota Statute 13, and it's all about the data practices and the information that one is entitled to. I mean, there's two issues working here. One's the discovery, and I'm certainly entitled to all that information. But the other issue then is it's a data practices request, which has to be honored as well. And there's penalties, including criminal penalties, for not supplying the information.
Okay, I'm familiar with data practices request. I just think that maybe you're sending it to the wrong place. I think this kind of goes during our conversation that we had before about, because basically he's not an employee of ours. So I think that if, in order to do a public data request, you need to send it to the office where that data is kept.
Yeah, but you've already done that, and you're the prosecutor, and you've already forwarded it to them, so they have it, so they have to supply it.
I've already done what?
You've already forwarded my request to the Highway Patrol. I mean, there should be no need for me to request that directly from them when you've passed my request on that I sent, to you. I mean, does that make sense?
Kind of.
I mean, if I request the information from you, you're the prosecutor, and you forward it to the agency, and the request doesn't even have to be in writing. I can make an oral or verbal request, and they still have to supply the information. So I mean, that's per statute. Everyone's entitled to that information. And I mean, if you want, you can research it if you need to, but that's how it works.
No, and again, I'm aware of what I'm aware of data practices. It's just more so, it's not like I just forward I don't know, maybe I misspoke when we spoke before, but it's not like I forwarded your letter that was sent to me to the State Patrol in order to get this information. We draft our own discovery request and send that off to them. And I go through each and every one of the requests for discovery and make sure that it's pursuant to the rules of criminal procedure, pursuant to the rules of evidence, and pursuant to statute. Because basically what we could do in any sort of speeding case is you could try and figure out, you can make any request you want, of course. You can ask to know how many times an officer went to Dairy Queen in a week, but it's not relevant to your defense, and it's overly burdensome, and basically these are petty offenses, and we give you what's required
So are you telling me that because you feel that, I mean, you're telling me, as I understand it, that it might be overburdensome, or, I mean, but you don't have to do any work. The Highway Patrol is the one that has to do the work, and I'm entitled to that information. So you got to tell me how
you feel you're entitled. You feel that you're entitled to what information? The personnel data?
Absolutely, yeah. It's per statute.
Yeah. So if that's something that you need to do, I would look up the statute and see who you need to direct that to, because basically that's not something that we have in our records here.
Well, I understand that. They have to supply it to you. And all I can tell you is that, and this is just things I'm hearing, but there was a judge in Scott County, Judge Stacy, Rex Stacy, who even mentioned to my friend John Meisner that good luck getting information out of the Highway Patrol, because we, even as judges and courts, have a hard time getting information. Now, that's just, what do you call it, I forget the word to use, that it's not necessarily factual, but it's word on the street, so to speak. So
no, and I don't, I'm not sitting here taking a stance on how easy or not easy it is. What I'm saying is my capacity here is basically to prosecute you for the crime in which you committed.
Whoa, time out. The crime alleged to have committed?
The alleged.
Yeah, okay.
The alleged.
That's what you meant.
The alleged committed crime.
Right.
Or crimes. So basically, if I do have exculpatory evidence, meaning things that would prove your innocence, I obviously need to provide that to you. I don't obviously have anything of that nature at this point in time. I do need to provide you by statute with the things that you requested that do follow statute, such as the maintenance and calibration log of the radar detection that would be pursuant to MnSTAT 169.14 subdivision 10D, which requires a disclosure of the radar testing records upon demand by the defendants.
Well, let's do this then. Why don't you send me a letter? I mean, when are you going to supply this discovery? I mean, do you have it yet?
No, I do not have it. Obviously, as soon as I get it, it'll be forwarded to you.
And why don't you then tell me what you're not supplying, and I'll do some research on my end. My understanding is if I send it to you and you forward it to them, then they have to supply me the information. Now, if you have authorities to the contrary, I'd like to know about that and understand what I.
Well, if you have authorities too, Mr. Johnson, if you have authorities too, I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Just because. It's not one of these things where you demand things and it's the burden's on me not to. The burden's on me then. You're the one that's making these requests. I'm following those requests as required by statute and by rules of Minnesota criminal procedure pursuant to Rule 9. I can't just sit here and basically follow every single one of these requests when they're not relevant to the case. And again, if you want, there is a little blurb there in Rule 9. I will direct you to the rule that you can make a motion to compel discovery for things that aren't provided if you can make a case that they are relevant to your defense. So
I'll just say this, based on the officer's behavior at the scene, I think his personnel records are very, very relevant to what's going on here, and I'll just state that to you right now.
Well, and I understand where you're coming from. Here's the meat of this conversation is there's alleged crimes that occurred and there's elements to those crimes. And basically, I don't foresee how a personnel data could be relevant to a defense for any of the elements.
Okay. Well, that's your position, I guess. So I'll see what I can do to help you with understanding it better and my position, and then if you can do what you can, I'll look up Rule 9 and everything. But I do have another issue I need to talk to you about, but I want to make sure we're done talking about the discovery.
Okay.
So do you have anything else to say about the discovery, or can we move on?
No, that was basically it. I just wanted to keep you in the loop as far as everything is concerned. I didn't want to, provide you with something once it's been passed on to me and have you think that it was, I was trying to pull something on you.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I have this letter from the Minnesota Court Payment Center addressed to me, and it's the citation we're talking about here in the same case number, and it's the date of notice was October 2nd, and it's a citation for violating window restrictions, tint too dark, traffic, speeding, and no proof of insurance. And so I called the number on this letter. It's a late payment advisory and final demand notice. And I don't know who I got, but the number I called was 651-281-3219 in the Metro. And my question was, is this some kind of new program where you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent? Because I don't understand what's going on here. I just showed up in court on October 1st, and they're sending me this late payment advisory and final demand notice. And so they gave me this number to call, 507-332-6107, which I have not done yet, but as long as I have you on the phone, maybe you could check into this and see what the heck is going on here.
Okay.
And if I need to, I can scan and email you a copy of this.
That would be very helpful, so I could take a look at that and put it in with your file here, along with that other citation that you had sent me. I will take a look at that and try to determine where that came from and what that relates to.
Yeah, because this is very disturbing to me, acting as if I'm not. I mean, one of the things you challenged me on was holding myself accountable and being responsible, and I certainly mean to do that. I'm not going to skip court. I'm going to show up, and I was there.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you were, and there's no dispute about that. So there is no reason for demands of payment when you're challenging the citation. Basically, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were directed to, because you didn't want to enter a plea at that time, you were directed to schedule a pretrial conference without entering a plea with the court administration. Is that correct?
That is correct. You were there, yeah, that's what the judge said.
I was there for the judge speaking on that.
Right.
And then basically you were given a copy of the court minutes and directed to go downstairs to that window, which is court administration, and schedule that. Is that correct?
No, I was given a sticky note with a case number on it, and I went downstairs and handed it to them, and they had me write it out on a piece of paper.
Okay. And did you do that?
Yes.
And then did they provide you with a date at that time?
No, they said they'd, I guess, mail it out or something, but they didn't give me a date at that time.
Okay, so basically they just said that they would take care of it and send it.
Yeah, they threw it in a basket.
Okay.
I witnessed that.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of see how that process went down, just to make sure that the proper request had been made. I know obviously it was made on the record, but I just want to make sure that because I didn't follow you down there, making sure that essentially that piece was taken care of, especially in light of the information you just provided me as far as the demand for payment is concerned. You know what I mean? So,
okay,
do you still have my email address there?
Yeah, I do. And then I'll just go ahead and I'll scan this and send this to you, and I guess we'll keep moving forward.
Yeah, I'll go talk to court admin and show them that and see if they're aware, just because in our office, obviously, we don't really deal with any sort of payments. Nothing, no payment for any citation comes through our particular office, so I'm definitely not the person to speak to as far as where that came from or why that came. We don't generate any letters out of our office like that, so I can go and talk to court admin and see if maybe they have a better grasp on where that comes from, and make sure that they process process that request for the pretrial conference as well. And if I have dates, I can respond to your email with those dates and just kind of give you a heads up on that.
Okay, sounds good.
Alrighty, well, yeah, I just wanted to let you know, give you a call and let you know again. I haven't received the discovery yet, but I just want to let you know that the request was not made for the personnel data.
Okay. All right, I'll check into that, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.